Hello, everybody. My name is Steve Dogarios. I'm the host for today's uh, pet talk show. We have a very special guest with us here on our program, and she's a very lovely person, and she's versatile on animal and care for animals in general. So I will not want to do the introduction myself. So I want you, please, Madam, to introduce yourself to us, please.
Hi, I'm Dulcie Shepherdson. I'm a retired educator. I work with special needs teenagers in behaviors, teenagers in court situations, and homeless teenagers. And part of my career choice was because of my experience with animals. I was born and raised in New Liskeard, and my mom is was well known in the dog show circuit and training. She had a obedience class for 30 years, and not only did we have all kinds of animals go in and out of our home, but we had all kinds of kids go in and out of our home. So I have four children. They're adopted. And we've always had a van full of kids and a van full of animals. So we've had cats and dogs and guinea pigs and gerbils and hedgehogs and turtles and fish and you name it. We've had it personally. My pets have always been dogs all my life. I can't think of a period in my life that I haven't had a dog for longer than a month,
All right.
and usually two. I sort of have they belong in a pack. So long as I'm the leader of the pack, we get along just fine. But it always seemed to have an older dog and a younger dog to train. And so I've had up to 5 and 6 dogs at one time. So 6 dogs and 4 children and being a single parent, it got to be interesting. They called my van the circus car, where the doors open and all kinds of animals and kids poured out. And we'd put up our tent and away we'd go. So animals have been a part of my life since I've been walking.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Um, are you affiliated with any animal organization here in Canada or part of the world?
Not at the moment. I used to be involved with therapeutic dogs. My mother, in fact, was somebody who did therapeutic dogs, but also she was an examiner for it. So when I started working with special needs teenagers in particular, I was the first person in our board who asked for permission to have a therapy dog in my classroom, working with special needs, usually 15 to 18-year-old boys, often bigger than me.
Mhm.
And my one in particular, we called her Miss Molly Brown. She was just a rescue dog from New Liskeard Agricultural College from their vet assistant program. She was a stray that they had taken in and used as a guinea pig. So Miss Molly was a phenomenal therapy dog, and the boys in particular loved her, and she could work miracles with them. And as a mother of adopted special needs children too, um, there's just something about the therapy of a dog in your life for security. When the world hates you and your mother's mean to you, your dog loves you, and somehow the world is just right when you can hug a dog and give a kiss.
Well said. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. So, what are the countries you have visited that you have adopted animals from?
Not necessarily that I have visited. The one in my most recent one, 2 years ago, I worked with a group called the CASMAS, Mujeres de Acción, a Women in Action group. In after their civil war, and that women without men and sons in their lives were at high risk. And so this group came together, and I hooked up with somebody down there. And while I was teaching English in this little tiny fishing village called Barra Ciega, when I was done teaching each day, I would go to the beach because I would be exhausted. And of course, there's so many feral dogs down there. But this little brown dog broke my heart. every day she would come running to see me, and she was so full of lice and so full of ticks and scrawny. You know the scenario.
Yeah.
And female dogs don't last very long, even less than the male dogs, because as soon as they have a litter, they usually die or shortly thereafter because they don't have the nutrition. This little dog tried to follow me across the lagoon, and I saw her go under. And I said, I can't, I'm going to get her. And everybody went, no, it's too dangerous. Well, I've been a swim instructor for 25 years. So I go out, and this little brown 6-month-old female dog that I named Bianca came home with me. And I said, I can't rescue a dog and then leave it to die on the beach. So everybody laughed. They thought it was really funny that this white woman was going to take this brown dog off the beaches. And many thousands of dollars later, and 2 years through COVID, and all kinds of ropes to jump through, I brought her home with me the end of February. And we called her Bianca. And she was just a joy, one of the most loving dogs. I remember I've always had at least 2 dogs in my life, all that I can remember, up to 4 and 6. And my mother bred dogs for showing. And this little dog was just an exceptional pup. But I'm retired now. I've traded my home for an apartment. I have 2 older dogs, and keeping this young pup with me while she was now 2 just didn't seem right. And I happened to be visiting friends of mine, and their son had just had his marriage break up, and he'd sold his house, and he works at home for the federal government on computers. And I saw Eric watching Bianca, and I thought, there's the match. And so Bianca now lives in Ottawa. She has the dream life that any dog. She has 5 coats, and they belong to a dog walking team. And she was actually here for a visit last weekend, and she was glad to see me, but she was definitely Eric's dog. And Bianca was definitely Eric's dog too. Like they just fit. And I watched them go down the sidewalk to go into the parking lot. And she was just walking so happy, so leisurely beside them. So El Salvador has so many feral dogs. And part of the joke is I'm going down there to live for 5 months and teach English and agriculture. My background is in agriculture as well, and some women issues things. And everybody's laughing because I asked for the yard around the house to be fenced in. And I said, it's to keep all the feral dogs out, but everybody's laughing, saying, no, you know darn well you're going to have that yard filled with dogs.
Yeah.
So it sort of goes that, one of the fascinating things for me in especially going through with Bianca was how different we treat our dogs up here. And here, my dogs are part of my family. We have birthday parties for them. You know, we have pictures. If we were out doing something, my kids and I, like snowshoeing or something, the dogs are with us. We're down there. They're vermin.
Thank you
and
very
much. Few have pets as dogs. So that's my most recent. Now I'll try and show you. This is the first dog I have ever allowed up on my furniture.
Okay.
And you can see I've got the blanket, and that's one of my horse pads that she's sleeping on.
Oh, very lovely.
She's a spoiled brat. And never in my life, in all my dog training, and I've taken because of my mother, and my sister-in-law was a master trainer at a big kennel place in Hamilton, and they show dogs. And now they're in New Brunswick. Dogs are part of my family, but I've never had a dog like this one. And we say she's from Cairo, Egypt.
Nice.
So the story with her is that the mother, and I included one of the pictures of a beige dog, had pups on the street, and they killed the pups with sticks and nails in it. And they threw battery acid on the mother. Well, it happened that Nisham, my dog, survived. And this group called Mercy in Cairo, Egypt, took her and put her in their dog area. Now, apparently the dog area is just a paved parking lot. So she was a traumatized pup. There was over 200 dogs there, and she had to survive on her own. So I call it PTSD. I recognize it in my horses. I recognize it in my kids I teach. And certainly this dog had PTSD. How she came to Canada was this group of women in Cairo, Egypt, put 4 puppies together while they were now 6 to 8 months old, put them in a box, sent them to a group in Montreal in February, except there was a snowstorm and they ended up left behind in the Toronto airport in the cargo, and nobody knew they were there. My horse boarded at a place in Bracebridge, and it just so happened that a woman in Cairo, her cousin was the owner of my barn where my horse was, and they phoned her and said, Sue, we've got these 4 puppies. Can you go find them? So she went down and brought them home. So these puppies were in 40 below weather in the airport. It wasn't the regular airports where they keep cargo. They were covered in every feces and starving and frozen and absolutely traumatized. It had taken them 4 days to get there. So I saw her, and 2 days later they had bathed her, and I went on a Saturday morning, and Sue said, you've got to see what's in my kitchen. And there were these 4 puppies, half-grown puppies. Yeah. Now, you got to know at this time, I already have 3 dogs at home. And the other puppies were happy to see us. And this one pup came and sat on my foot and looked up at me with those brown eyes. And I sent you a picture of her sort of pounced down. Yeah. And I took her home.
That's good.
I went through the Muskoka Rescue Group, who sponsored the pups to come up and at it, and paid the money in a donation. But Nisham came to live with me, and she's tested my patience. She's tested my training and all my common sense. She loves me dearly, but we have a joke. She loves me dearly, but she doesn't give me kisses. She doesn't know. She's never known how to play. She's never done that puppy play. She likes affection, but she doesn't want to give it. She doesn't train with food. Like, what dog doesn't train with steak or hot dogs or cheese? Yeah. She couldn't care less. And she's very stubborn. So she's been a big challenge. And as I said, I know she would put her life down for me. She loves me that way, but I had to learn to handle her differently. I have to learn how to think differently with her. And her body language is very different than some of the other dogs that I've raised. So she's from Cairo, Egypt. The rest of all come from, as I said, the veterinarian schools at the end of the year have an adoption day, and Miss Molly came from there. My old dog here was a New Year's Eve gift to my son, and he was the only puppy left, and everybody felt sorry for him. Somebody said, this puppy all by himself, everybody else had adopted the other ones. It was just this puppy. So we went down New Year's Eve, and because I had a history of many animals on my vet's list, I brought him home. So somebody said, what breed is he? We say Black Lab and Shetland Pony. Like, he's just big and only he's gray sort of now. He's 13 years old. My other rescue is a 17-year-old. He'll be turning 17 this summer. Boston Terrier, purebred from a dog mill that the owner tried to amputate the tail and then took it to the vet and said, I don't want it. It's not, he was full of infections and that. And I ended up with him. So he's actually with my daughter now because he can't do the traveling with me and that. He's blind, totally deaf, totally cute. He just sleeps and slobbers. That's all that his name is Theo. So we say that's what he's specializing in, sleeping and slobbering all over. But
so, ma'am, if you were If fruit, what fruit will you be?
If I was a fruit,
Yeah.
hmm. Well, you know what? I think I'd like to be an apple.
No. Why did you say so?
And for many reasons. One, there's lots of varieties, and today your favorite could be a red delicious, tomorrow it could be a green Granny Smith or yellow. So I like the idea that apples come in all different colors and flavors. And because three of my children adopted are native with status and that, and I had done some work with a NACAT team, and their band said yes, I could adopt them. They were often called apple children. Red on the outside, but white on the inside, raised white, but red. So it's sort of a family joke that we're an apple family.
That's good.
And
That's good. That's
so
good.
I think an apple.
Okay, I'll take that as a good one. So, if you have uh, a superhero power, what will you do with it?
Mm. Well, I think my first thing is my first thought is, oh gee, I want to make the world all peaceful and to respect everybody. And the whole idea when I taught all those years and that and working with staff or whether I was working with students is I only ask one thing of you: to respect each other, respect yourself, respect others, respect their lifestyles, respect who they are. But now, in the way things are in the world, I think I want to can we start thinking with our heads instead of with our card? You know what I mean? Like, I belong to this group, I belong to that group.
Very
Can
true.
we just respect each other and find the best ways, not the political ways, to help each other? How can we not help each other? Like, I don't get that.
You're very good. Thank you very much. If you happen to be an animal, what will you be?
I said, when I die, I want to come back as my horse.
Oh, really?
Because she was a rescue as well. I already had one, or so did my son, and she was sort of came into our barn, and I felt so sorry for her. I bought her, but here I am. I have 2 winter coats. She has 8 coats. She
Okay.
gets she gets shoes every 6 weeks. I barely get to have a pedicure. She has a vet come in every 6 weeks. She gets brushed and showered. She has 2 saddles. She has, everything she wants. Carrots every day, a nice box doll. Everybody loves her. And all she has to do is look good and be nice to people. So I think I want to come back as my horse. My horse's name is My Hallelujah. She's a quarter horse, and I call her Hallie. And we call her the princess because she thinks she's a princess.
Okay, that's nice to hear. That's very nice to hear. Um, if you had the privilege to say something nice about your veterinary doctor, what would that be?
I have several vets, and I've had several vets. The one I have the most admiration for is a vet from Huntsville. Her name is Haley Martin.
Mm.
She rides with me, or I used to. I've moved up to North Bay now, so I don't ride at the same equestrian center, and I don't do the show stuff and that. And what I like about Haley is she's a large animal vet. So right off the bat, that's hard work. That means being stomped on, kicked, pulled around. It's hard physical work. What I liked about Haley was she would come and see my horse, Hallie, and say, this needs to be done. It wasn't an appointment. She would just come and say, I left something because I noticed. And she was, when my horse colicked, she was there. When we had a foot problem with my horse, she was there not only as a vet, but as my friend. And of course, what I appreciated about her was her horse, Cairo, was just down the barn from me. So we became friends, and I was just absolutely, it wasn't just a job for her. I think that's most of the men vets I've had. And when I was in agriculture, we had purebred cattle and we showed them and stuff like that. They were all fine, but Haley really liked. And we would talk about how hard it is, like, to hold on to a 2,000-pound yearling bull and try and get something done, a blood sample, because I had to take vet meds when I was at ag culture and all stuff like that. So I just admired her determination and her sincere love of animals. She was just in the paper. She rescued, somebody called her a young yearling moose calf who was sick and covered in ticks. And there she is pushing this moose calf out so they could put it in her wagon and take it to a sanctuary. That's the kind of person she is. So that's Haley Martin, best vet I've ever come across.
That's very good. That's very good to know. Now I'm so intrigued by me hearing that you have so many lovely people around you. Your mother is a show lady. So many people, you have vets around you. Your kids love animals. In fact, I'm so glad, I'm so joyful to hear that you're surrounded by angels on earth. So I so much admire your company around you. So if you are, there's a question. This is a very simple question. What are the challenges you have when you're about to adopt animals? What are the challenges you guys have?
Okay.
Adopting an animal.
One of the, again, I've just been involved with two, but I've had friends who've brought in animals from other countries. One, the paperwork. And the cost of vets in El Salvador was absolutely alarming because they know you're Canadian. So the price starts here. Oh, you're from Canada. It goes up to here. So that was, but I guess in Canada, even though dogs were on the street, they were healthy. And so adopting dogs is often, it's not just, oh, take them for a vet check. It could be a long, long time. It took 1.5 years before Bianca was healthy. And, she had to have very many prescriptions of different drugs as we went along to cure everything that she came with. And so if with my animal background in that, if I didn't understand what was going on and why these things, and why there was a couple, I said, no, let's hold on. I don't think her immune system is strong enough yet to do that. In Canada, of course, it's recognizing that just like broken kids and battered kids, when you adopt animals, not all puppies are playful. And if they are playful, that doesn't mean they're going to be a puppy all along. And you can have triggers all of a sudden put in a situation that you go like, why are you doing this? Like, especially my dog Nisha, like, why are you reacting? Oh, yes. It was a trigger for her. And often the same with working with my kids, the same principles I learned from my mom and from my family with handling dogs made me very successful in my chosen field, because you have to have patience, and you have to have consistency, and you have to be able to take the situation and say, not look at it through my eyes, but look at it through her eyes. The same thing with my horse when I got her. It took me 3 months, and she wasn't a baby, 3 months to go into a box stall and get her to stand still and put a halter on her. Now, she'd been shown in that. But she was so afraid, and she'd been beaten, and obviously somebody, even go near her ears and look out, you're going to be kicked across. So it was being patient and determined, and using body language and using character, like that sort of gentleness, but strength. That's what I used in my classroom. That's what I use with my dogs. That's what I use with my animals. And so adopting isn't, oh, gee, isn't that a cute puppy? Or, oh, yeah, well, we're getting like a puppy's going to chew your furniture. So why are you returning it to the Humane Society sort of deal? A puppy's, you're going to have to be patient and train it. And there's those teen years that it's a grown-up dog in size, but not with its brain. And I think a lot of people give up on dogs too soon.
Thank you very much, madam. You have really taught me so many things that I will say I'm very happy to hear them. And I'm so glad I'm having so many mentors because I have so many people I'm going to look up to when it comes to animals. And as a legend in Africa, I would say his name is Fela Anikbolako Kuti. Is our legend in Nigeria, in Africa, West Africa. He said the secret of life is to have no fear. That's what you just showed me. You don't have fear, but you give love to animals and people. You have just showed me that what the legend said is what
Mhm.
you're doing right now. And uh, it's my joy to see, to be able to know someone like you, and also to let the world know that if they have people like you in the world is going to be a better place. As you said, if you have superpowers, you're going to make the world be a peaceful and loving and respectful place for everybody. And I really respect that. That's what the world should be like. I don't know why there should be wars and rumor of wars and all that, but I thank you very much. One last question before we go is this. What part of Canada haven't you visited?
Would I like to visit?
What part of Canada you have not visited that you love to visit?
Hmm. Well, believe it or not, I'd like to go up to Iqaluit and up in Nunavut. I'd like to go to Resolute Bay. It's our most northern community. I
Okay.
don't know how anything survives up there.
Okay.
And I'd like to see, I don't know why, but I'm fascinated by the Arctic fox.
Oh, really?
Little white, this little white character guy, almost comic. And how in the heck do they survive up there? And yeah, I haven't traveled a lot through Canada. I've been different places. I'm a canoeist and a camper. And but that's always like, how in the heck do Canadians survive up there? And how in the heck those animals survive up there? Like not the big muskox ones, but those little tiny foxes. Like how in the heck do they survive? And they're so cute and they're so inquisitive. Um, I like that. I like that. I like that in my students. I like that in my animals. I want them to say, hey, what's that? And what are we going to do next? And yeah.
Okay. So um we thank you very much for coming to our show today, and
My
we
pleasure.
we would like you to know that we have more time for you in the future, and we'll use this opportunity to tell the viewers that please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and follow us on Instagram, add us on Facebook. We have our contact details below. We have our emails and our phone numbers. If you want to sponsor us, you want more inquiries, you want to come on our show, you have good stories to tell, feel free. The main fact is on animals. You're lucky to be received very well. So thank you very much, madam, for coming on our show. I still remain Steve Dogarios, the host of today's show. Uh, Thank you very much. And madam, please say hello to all your animals for us. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
God bless you.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.